Is President Obama an atheist? I wish I could say yes, but he's not. He hasn't said so. And there's a lot of ways to think about this that are really interesting. It's funny because conservative Christians have gone off the rail about saying how he's a Muslim. Like, President Obama says he's a Christian, but they don't want him. As in, they don't accept the fact that he is one of them. Meanwhile, atheists like me would love it if he said he was an atheist, but he won't say that either because he's a Christian, and that's what he said. There is an argument to be made that he says he's a Christian for political reasons. I mean, he's African American, and that's such a big part of the African American culture. He was a community organizer, and faith is a big part about how communities organize. So there's a lot of political reasons for him to be heavily vested in a Christian church. And we saw what happened when, he started going to church when he was running for office, or at least his church history, starting from when he started attending a church in Chicago, came into light. And we found out some of the things his pastor, Reverend Wright, said. And, he had to distance himself. And he's not the type of president who goes to church every single week. You never see those headlines like Obama went to church this Sunday and the following Sunday and the Sunday after. It's kind of like he has better things to do with his time. But at the same time, he's always talking about his faith in every speech. He'll sometimes give little shout outs to atheists. Like his first inauguration, he said, we're a nation of like Christians and Muslims and Hindus and Jews and non-believers. And that was, man, what a bone to throw at us. Like, wow, he mentioned us in the inauguration. Unfortunately, that's about all we get. We get little morsels here and there. President Bush started this Office of Faith-Based Initiatives. President Obama expanded it. And he still talks about, faith all the time as if, he has a faith-based advisory council that literally they advise him on how to handle situations. And he talks to them periodically. For years now, all the years he's been in office, there has not been a single non-religious person on there. And you might argue like, well, why would an atheist be on a faith council? Well, there are a lot of humanists. There are a lot of chaplains who do interfaith work who are not religious, who would easily fit into that sort of council. And yet they haven't touched that with like a 10-foot pole, the administration there. So, as much as I want Obama to say he's an atheist, I have no reason to think he actually is one. His mother was actually a secular humanist. So it's not like he's unaware of this stuff. He was brought up in a non-religious household, really. So he knows what it's all about. And I know this is very selfish for me to say, but you'd think a guy as smart as he is with the colleges and universities pedigree that he comes from, would think he would have, maybe lost his faith by now, but that's just wishful thinking. I mean, he is a Christian. I'm not going to deny that at all. I just wish he would do more to promote separation of church and state. When he does amazing things like saying, I support gay marriage, he does that in spite of his faith. And he'll argue he does it because of his faith, but no, his faith is an obstacle to doing things like that. It would be wonderful to have a president who says, I don't believe in God. I'm going to do things based on the evidence. I'm not going to consult with God before I make a big decision out there. That would make me feel really good. But that has happened 0 times, unfortunately. And unfortunately, it also looks like that's not going to happen anytime soon. Every poll where they say, who would you vote for from your political party? Would you vote for a woman who was in your political party? Would you vote for a black person, a Jewish person, a Hispanic person? Everyone says yes, increasingly, to all of those things. Atheism, if they were an atheist, that's still at the bottom of the list. A gay person will be elected before an atheist will be elected. And that's awesome for LGBT people, but I kind of wish we would get an elected atheist sometime. And I wish Barack Obama were that person, but he's not. My name is Hemant Mehta. I write for friendlyatheist.com, and we'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment below and become part of this discussion.